Good morning, Warzone kids. It's a beautiful day on the trail this morning. 10 degrees. It's cold, but it's bright and sunny. I got my warm shoes on. I got my hat. We can get in a lot of miles today on the trail. We can walk today's miles. That's all we can ever do. Warzone kids. That's my term for those of us that grew up with a childhood that resembled a hostile war zone more than a supportive nursery. I'm a child sex abuse survivor. And as an adult, I live with borderline personality disorder. I'm a recovering addict, bulimic, binge eater. I've had an adult life characterized by all the things you see on that borderline checklist. Wildly unstable attachment mechanism, sort of chaotic neutral on the best of circumstances. Emotional antenna, always at work, trying to read the minds of those around me, trying to see what's happening next. I know why these things are like, I know why, I'm afflicted by these things. I know what my childhood was like. My caregivers, my parents, were also constantly engaged in a low-grade guerrilla war to make me the kind of child they wanted me to be, to make me just perfect in their eyes. Which was always different. It was always critical. It was always trying to cram me into whatever it was that they wanted me to be. I never had a moment's rest. Like a drummer, like a jazz drummer beating out polyrhythms. Most important thing in my life was keeping my folks happy. Keeping them in a good mood, keeping them satisfied. It always failed, but I always gave it the old college try. Like with one hand beating out 5-4 time for my old man, and with my other hand beating out 11-2 time for my mother. And when they were both together, got to beat out that polyrhythm, keep them both happy. It's an impossible task. It always failed, and I always thought it was going to be different this time, and maybe I could do it right, but I never could. It always ended up the same way, them wreaking vengeance upon me. Emotional vengeance, banishing me to the outer world. So as I find myself as an adult, I have a psyche that was put together, that put itself together to live in that environment. Splitting, betrayal, hypervigilance, chaotic attachment mechanism, all of that. Man, does that make it hard to live. It makes it even harder to live when you don't know that's what you're dealing with, because from the outside, it's easy to look at someone else and see that checklist. Yep, yes, and yes. Borderline, okay. But on the inside, it's just you. On the inside, it's just the psyche. The same eyeballs have been looking back at you from the mirror your whole life. It's all one big, long, uninterrupted story. Till somehow or another, you find yourself on the trail to the Western lands trying to learn and become who you are, and your eyes become open somewhat to some of that. And you can see that living in that is just living in a sea of suffering. You want to get out of it. Well, Zen practice is one thing that's a big cornerstone of my life now. And the cornerstone of Zen practice is meditation. It's called Zazen, Shikantaza, just sitting. You sit on a cushion, straight spine, make yourself comfortable like a tripod. You look at the wall, or you look at a spot on the floor, and that's it. That's it. You don't try to do anything at all with your mind. Don't try to calm it. Don't try to turn it on. Don't try to think certain thoughts. Don't try to not think certain thoughts. It's like Daniel-san in the Karate Kid waxing all those cars. All you do is sit there and look at the wall. You don't know why. It seems stupid. And it is stupid. Zazen is good for nothing, as they say. But over time, something happens, waxing all those cars. And over time, it's had a profound impact on how I experience the fire hose that is the it that lives in my mind, der es, the it that shoots that fire hose at me. Just the other day, I was riding in, and there was an absolute fire hose of thoughts that may as well have been frozen in amber from my childhood. Just bad thoughts, critical thoughts, thoughts about, you fill in the blank. if you got borderline and you're listening to this, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. A fire hose of thoughts and mental activity, love and betrayal. Why can't I make my folks be different? They're both still alive. Why can't I make them be different? Why can't I change them? I got this vision in my mind of the people they could be if only they found their own way to healing. And it's hard for me to let go of the addiction that somehow I can get them to do that. Because they're two well-intentioned but heavily damaged people. And then I got regrets and second arrows. I'm trying to change them just the same way they're trying to change me. No, it's just the same. I'm the same as them. Ah! That's all the fire hose. Sitting on the cushion looking at the wall has altered profoundly the way I relate to that fire hose. Those are all just thoughts and feelings coming into my mind. That's all they are. The thoughts and feelings will come out of that fire hose, and like water out of a real fire hose, they'll go right on by, right out the other side. I don't try to change them. I've given up. I've abandoned all hope of ever changing what comes out of that fire hose. I can't control it anyway. The most I can do is kind of crimp up the fire hose and try to block it out. That just means the pressure builds up. Every water molecule in that fire hose is coming out. It's all going to spray across my brain. My relationship with that is different. My relationship now developed by sitting on a cushion looking at the wall doing absolutely nothing is that all those bits of water droplets coming out of that fire hose, they're all just water droplets coming out of the fire hose. That's all they are. They don't mean anything else. I don't have to believe them. I don't have to do anything about them. I do not have to let them run my life. I do not. When I sit on my cushion, look at the wall, that fire hose is coming. Sometimes it blows me away. That's okay. Why shouldn't it? All I'm doing is sitting here on a cushion looking at the wall. Then 2 seconds later, that fire hose hits me again. All I'm doing is sitting on this cushion looking at the wall. My entire life is sitting on this cushion looking at the wall. Fire hose. That's okay. I don't need to be some other guy. I don't need to sit here and wish that I could stop that fire hose. Because sitting there wishing I could stop that fire hose is just turning up the volume on that fire hose. No, I just sit there and let that fire hose do whatever it does. It's okay. Why should I have a different psyche? I don't. I have the psyche I have. When it fire hoses me, then I get fire hosed. I don't have to believe it. When I feel that someone that means something to me has betrayed me, I don't have to believe it. I can just think that's a feeling of betrayal. And you know how I understand that feeling now? That just means I've been hurt. I'm a human being. People hurt me. That's fine. It doesn't mean they betrayed me. It just means that's how my psyche feels pain. So now, when I feel betrayed, I don't have to act on it. I can say, I feel betrayed. I wonder if someone hurt me. That's it. Easy. It ain't always easy to remember that the fire hose is just a fire hose, but I do. Sometimes I get blown away by the fire hose. That's okay. Regret, self-criticism over being blown away by the fire hose. That's just add more water to the fire hose. Doesn't do anything for me. When I was obsessed with being a different guy with a different psyche that had calm emotions, that didn't experience betrayal, that didn't experience the intensity of love and hate and rage and pain, that kept me stuck, living inside that fire hose, riding on it. When I abandoned all hope of being a different guy, and I just learned to be the guy that I am, that fire hose became just a fire hose. It sprays out water. That's what fire hoses do. My psyche does what my psyche does. That's all it does. And I can live my life. I can live my life. I can live my life. Today's a Monday. I took up running last year. Sundays are my long run day. And for me, long run, 9.5 miles. That's what I did yesterday. That's the longest I've ever run in a stretch in my life. I started running last April. This coming spring, I'm going to run in the Leaf Peeper Half Marathon. I have me an athletic goal. I was a chubby kid. I lived inside my head. I have never had an athletic goal in my life. I got space by sitting on the cushion, looking at the wall, doing nothing. I got space to learn that I like running. I like being by myself. It's a natural state for me. When I'm by myself, I'm not managing other people's feelings. I'm not vexed. I'm by myself. I'm quiet. I weigh 197 pounds now. In the last couple of months, first time I've weighed less than 200 pounds in my adult life. Most I ever weighed that I know of is 378 pounds. That's a lot. That's a lot of feelings to eat. Every day I spent hating myself for being fat and being a failed bulimic. Other bulimics are skinny. Why am I a fat bulimic? How stupid am I? That's just adding water to the fire hose. I am what I am. I'm the guy that I am. When I accept that, when I live my life as Ben Johnson, I don't have to eat my feelings. I don't have to struggle against eating them. I don't have to white knuckle it. I'm a recovering addict. I'm not white knuckling my way through my life, trying to get to the end of the day without getting high. There's been certainly long periods of my life when I've done that. Periods of time as an adult when I thought, pot's not getting high. Pot's just an easy drug. Pot's a friendly drug. And it is. It's so friendly, I'll happily disappear into it and stay there. I don't need that. It's poison. It keeps me away from myself. Sit on the cushion, look at the wall. I don't need to get high. That's the role that the good-for-nothing practice of sitting on a cushion staring at the wall has done for me. I couldn't explain it to someone else, really, beyond what I just said. When people say, I tried meditation, it doesn't work. Well, if you said that to a Zen teacher, he'd say it works just fine. There's nothing, it doesn't. When you sit down with your straight spine and your legs and your butt on a cushion and you look at the wall, it's working. Like they say in 12-step meetings. It works if you work it. So work it. You're worth it. That's why I sit at the cushion, look at the wall. That's why I talk about Zen a lot. That's why I practice it, even though I can't stand going to the Zendo and sitting with a group of people. I have resistance to all that. I just want to sit by myself on my cushion at home. But the practice of Zen is best done with a teacher and with other people. So I have feelings about that. That's okay. Those feelings about that are just feelings. I go and I do it anyway. And I love it. And that's also just a feeling. As an addict, I know the phrase, do the next right thing. The next right thing for me is to sit on the cushion and look at the wall. And to say, if Zen means something to me, I'm going to get me a teacher. And I'm going to go to the group. And I'm going to sit on a cushion with other people. And when I feel irritation and resistance on my cushion, wishing I was just at home, that's okay. The next right thing for me is to go to that Zen group and get myself a teacher. That's the next right thing. So that's what I do. That's why I keep Zen on my rucksack, Pilgrim. If you're living with borderline personality disorder, I don't know what you should do with your life. You should do whatever feels like it gets you on the trail of the Western lands. I'm just sharing with you the role that Zen has played in my life, living with this war zone psyche, I love my psyche now. I don't want to change it. My psyche, all those qualities that have given me such torment in the past. Now let me put it different. All those qualities that can give me such torment in the present are what got me through my life in the past. I'm grateful for each and every one of those qualities. The suffering and pain caused by living life with that psyche gave me the motivation to sit on the cushion and look at the wall. And sitting on the cushion, looking at the wall, has given me the ability to live my life. And I love my life. I love today. And if you're a war zone kid, I love you too. I know what it's like to live in a sea of suffering and to feel like there's no way out, but there is. The way out is by learning and becoming who you are. That's been my experience. It's a beautiful day on the trail, Pilgrim. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get in a few miles together and let's have a chat. Daylight's burning, Pilgrim. Let's get after it.